CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand joins us now from the White House with the administration's angle on all of this. Good morning again, Natalie. So what are we hearing from the administration on these freshly released jobs numbers? Because it's not sounding positive.
Desperately needed economic insights on U.S. job numbers and trade policy. Kelly O'Grady from CBS News reports live, thanking us for our continued viewership as the breaking news about the U.S. economy unfolds. Our top story today centers around the freshly released jobs numbers, which are causing alarm across economic sectors. Joining us live from the White House is CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand, here to give us insights into what the administration has to say on these new figures. What are the White House's key takeaways on the job numbers? We've heard about the unsettling jobs report, and it appears that the administration is downplaying its implications. What's the administration's stance on these new job numbers? The jobs numbers are indeed concerning. However, the administration is working to downplay the situation by pointing to a variety of factors that are impacting the numbers. The chair of the Council of Economic Advisors has highlighted that uncertainty around immigration policies, shifting trade tariffs, and other variables are influencing these figures. They're trying to shift the focus away from the negative numbers and instead frame them within a broader economic context, Natalie explains. The new tariff policy, a game changer? The administration has also unveiled a new trade tariff policy that's causing quite a stir. The new tariffs affect nearly 70 trading partners, with rates varying from 41% down to 10%. This shift is timed right ahead of the looming August 1st deadline for new tariff implementations. These changes, based on trade imbalances, could have far-reaching consequences on global trade dynamics. The U.S. Trade Representative appeared on a cable news program this morning, offering further insight into these tariffs. In the interview, the representative signaled that, despite the hard-hitting new rates, there's still room for negotiation. He indicated that several countries are already reaching out, discussing potential deals to lessen the impact of these tariffs. He even mentioned receiving a flood of text messages from trade ministers, many of whom were waking up to the news of these changes for the first time. In an interview with Fox Business, the representative stated, "This is a great deal for the country. The president has agreed that if a country has an alternative plan where there's a balance of tariffs, investments, and market openings, we can still strike deals. There are already agreements in place with countries like South Korea, Japan, Indonesia, and the European Union. The president may also consider additional deals if the right terms are offered." Switzerland's economic shock among the countries hit hardest by the new tariff rates is Switzerland, which is facing a staggering 39% tariff rate. Swiss business groups, particularly those representing the tech industry, have voiced strong concerns, calling the decision arbitrary and shocking. Despite these critiques, the U.S. administration maintains that the new tariffs are a direct result of trade deficits in previous negotiations. Small businesses in the U.S. are also beginning to worry about the effects these tariffs will have on their operations. Even businesses that primarily sell domestically produced goods may find themselves affected. For example, a small business in Texas that sells cowboy boots made in the U.S. relies on ostrich leather from South Africa. As global trade disruptions continue, companies like these may face rising costs that will ultimately be passed down to consumers. Trade tensions with the U.S. Natalie Brand also touches on the trade relationship between the U.S. and Canada, one of its largest trading partners. Under the new tariff structure, Canada will now face a 35% rate, an increase from the previous 25%. The administration justifies the hike by citing Canada's failure to curb the flow of illicit drugs, particularly fentanyl, into the U.S. However, Canadian officials are pushing back, with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stressing that Canada is responsible for only 1% of the fentanyl entering the U.S. The Canadian government is also arguing that it will prioritize domestic economic growth, creating high-paying jobs and economic opportunities within Canada. While tensions remain high between the two nations, discussions about future trade agreements are still ongoing. Tensions with Mexico and China. Additionally, ongoing talks with Mexico and China are expected to continue for the next 90 days. These trade discussions are critical, especially with Mexico being one of the largest exporters to the U.S. Any changes to tariffs between these nations could have a significant impact on U.S. consumers and businesses that depend on imports from these countries. International markets react. Moving over to international markets, CBS senior foreign correspondent Elizabeth Palmer, stationed in London, joins us to give us an update on how global markets are reacting to the news. As expected, world markets are largely down, though not as much as initially feared. We're seeing a bit of a mixed bag across global markets, Kelly. The news about the new tariffs was expected to cause massive turmoil, but many of the tariffs, particularly the European ones, were already announced ahead of the weekend. That helped temper some of the initial fears. However, the surprise 39% tariff on Switzerland has caused some noticeable reactions. Its stock market and currency have both taken a hit, and it's all happening on Switzerland's National Day, no less. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more updates and content. We've got plenty more coming your way. Understanding the impact on trade goods. The key exports from Switzerland to the U.S. include pharmaceuticals, luxury watches, and gold, which are essential to the country's economy. These sectors are now facing steep tariffs, which could potentially disrupt the supply chain. Swiss business groups are hoping that these tariffs can be reevaluated and reduced as they seek a way back to the negotiating table with the U.S.-Canada's exemptions. What's safe from tariffs? Despite the 35% tariff hike, some goods from Canada are exempt from these new rates due to a trade agreement between the two countries. This trade agreement is designed to protect a range of goods from hefty tariffs, though the increase in aluminum, steel, and lumber tariffs will affect U.S. industries. Canada is the largest supplier of aluminum to the U.S., and manufacturers of products like aircraft may soon see price increases due to higher material costs. As the administration prepares for the full implementation of these tariff rates, it remains to be seen how global trade dynamics will continue to shift. With ongoing negotiations and possible adjustments in the coming weeks, it's clear that these tariff policies are far from settled. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more updates and content. We've got plenty more coming your way.